Welcome back to Squawk on the Street. Today's Thursday edition of the Santelli Exchange. Wonderful interview by ex-Treasury Secretary Bob Rubin. And there was one clip that everybody's talking about. Can we please play the clip?
What I didn't see, and virtually nobody saw, the regulators, the analysts, with all due respect, the journalists, was the possibility of a serious crisis.
Well, I'll tell you what, keep that in mind, of course, because nobody saw it. Nobody saw this serious crisis. He also had some pretty positive, kind words to say about Treasury Secretary Timothy Geithner, at least Treasury Secretary for a little while, which I would like to contrast, and remember, Robert Rubin, Citibank, with some of the things in Sheila Bair's book, some interesting Bair quotes, and it was bull by the horns. The first quote is, Geithner skewed bailout to save Citigroup. And the second quote is, covering up for Citigroup's problems drove much of the bailout. Draw your own conclusions on that one. Let's also take another walk back in time to around an op-ed in the Wall Street Journal that appeared on October 2nd, 2008. And you could read it for yourself. I'm going to read really fast and just pull out a couple of things, and you'll see where we're going. A couple of comments from Barney Frank, one I liked in particular. I worry, frankly, that there's tension here. The more people, in my judgment, that exaggerate a threat of safety and soundness, the more people conjure up the possibility of serious financial losses to Treasury. Of course, he's talking about the GSEs. And another comment he made, he said, I want to roll the dice a little more in this situation towards subsidized housing. One final quote, Representative Maxine Waters. Speaking to Housing and Urban Development, it was a subcommittee meeting. She basically said that, we have to stay with subsidized housing. Don't fix it if it ain't broke. All right, now, here's the point. Nobody ever likes to take away the punch bowl. There was about $500 to $600 notional dollars of value in the OTC derivatives market before housing. Robert Rubin said nobody could have caught it. Then what about S&P? Aren't they included in that group? The reason I read all those quotes is S&P and all the rating agencies, I don't have any love affair with them, but they're between a rock and a hard place. If they wouldn't have given AAA ratings to these tranches, you heard with Barney Frank, Maxine Waters, and a boatload of other politicians, they liked the GSEs just the way they were. If you spoke out that there was anxiety there, you were public enemy number one. Robert Rubin says nobody could have seen it coming. I guess nobody except for how many people, including Greenspan, talked about the fact that hundreds of trillions of dollars of notional over-the-counter derivatives wasn't going to end well. So S&P here in this clawback world we live in, whether they were ignorant, as Bob Rubin says, or nobody wanted to take the punch bowl, which is really the way history will look at it, do we think this is right? If they go after S&P, they should go after all the rating agencies. They should go after all the executives. They should claw back all their pay. But I guess I learned something when I was young. Death and taxes was one, and the other one is you can't fight City Hall. Back to you, Melissa Lee.